Hello, and welcome back to the Real Music Talks. Today's guest is Preslava, also known as LVA, a singer and producer from London. How are you doing today?
Hi, Dan. Thanks so much for doing this. I'm so worried about my accent. I hope I don't sound too East European.
No worries at all. No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you, and don't worry about that. I'm sure everyone will cope just fine. Your English is great from my end.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me. I've never done anything like that, and I like talking about myself, so this should be fun.
No worries. No, that's great. So for people that have never heard of you before, how would you describe yourself and your involvement in the music industry?
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter and an electronic music producer in the genre of dark pop, electronic, extravagant, new soul, I would say. I started producing music 5 years ago when I moved to London, and before that, I was just a singer. But like, I wanted to have full control over my sound, and yeah, I'm like, okay, let's see how this MIDI stuff works. And I started producing my own stuff, and it turned out to be pretty interesting. And I feel like I had to graduate like from University of West London. I have masters in electronic music, and I feel like I'm only starting to invest in my career. I'm 32. Um, what else can I tell you? I mean, like it's been it's a tough industry to be in.
So taking it back, where did it all start for you? How did you first get into music?
Right. Well, I've got a funny story for you. So, like, my parents are musicians, and like, we've always had a piano in my house. So, like, when I was around 5 or 6 years old, I used to like get up in the morning, go to the piano, and play a really sad song, like a really sad melody. So it was always me and sad songs. Like, I've always felt like it's really hard to write a happy song. And then my mom actually she's a legend. Oh my god. So she was a coach in the voice. She's a vocal coach. So I started singing since I was 7 or 8, and then I went around the world. I did quite a few gigs with like jazz musicians, just playing jazz standards and covers. I listened to a lot of like black metal as well when I was a teenager. So that kind of influenced my direction, and I just started writing songs. It was all like, how can I say, I don't have any music theory background. I don't know any of those stuff, but like, I'm happy to say actually Tom York is like that. I had no idea, but that man, he's just like, it's all like intuition. So I started like putting some chords together, and just like, I don't know, music for me, it's like, like making a movie. It's like, this is a moment in time, and like, it's like a film to me. I don't know. So yeah, so this is how it all started.
That makes sense. I think it comes out in the style of your music as well and how you create the videos and everything to go alongside it.
Yeah.
So how did you know, like, when did you first like start being that creative? Like, how did that kind of come about?
Again, I feel like when I was a child, I was like, I just imagined myself being like this great composer. I was like, I want to write these great tunes. And then the craziest things happened. Like, I went to medical university, and I was a total nerd, and I have a master's in pharmacy as well. And it was just like, I'm like, man, why the hell am I doing this? Like, I should be writing music. But like, I'm one of those people that never give up. And I just thought, no, I have to finish this degree. So the creativity came actually with like me studying a lot, like reading a lot of stuff, and just like listening to like electronic music, and I'm just thinking about neuromediators and neuroscience. And then, just like, when you push your brain too much, creativity comes along. And when you're tired as well, you allow yourself to make a mistake, and then something brilliant comes up. So yeah, I started writing music like around like 10 years ago, maybe. And it's just all for my family and friends. And I was like, oh, this shit is good, man. You have to like pursue that. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just for me, you know. Sometimes I would just write a song just to make myself cry because nothing else feels good to me and nothing else speaks to me. So I write the kind of music I want to listen to.
Interesting. So I guess like it's very self-indulgent from your end, right? It's a creative process. Do you like care if people like it or not? Like, how do you kind of tailor your music to be a bit more sort of commercial?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think I started caring about this just now. And I went on The Voice in my country, in Bulgaria. I went on The Voice. I had 4 chairs, and then I didn't go through the next round, which was heartbreaking. And I thought like, but still, I'm getting quite a lot of exposure at the moment. So I thought now is the time to make people like my music. Just like to expand a little bit. So how do I make my other people like my music? Let me think about this. I guess, like many other artists, I am quite political in my music. So I'm trying to make a point of like, I think that's the most important thing, just like influence people and challenge them and just like share a different point of view. So I guess my audience will kind of like the branding of it. I think that's number one, really, like you have to be a brand and you have to sell an idea, and it's really interesting how you can challenge people in a cool way. So I'm trying to be different, but not for the sake of it. And a lot of it is like, because I'm editing my own videos as well, I'm doing everything on my own literally. It drives me a bit nuts sometimes, but like when you're a control freak, right, you're like, all right, I know what I want. So yeah, so a lot of my branding is about like, you know against like online pornography and all of that. I want to have videos which are like super inspiring, but not in that way. I don't want to challenge anyone in a sexual way. It's like you can sing about it, you can make people like have, like their own feelings about it. I don't want to expose myself in that way. So it's difficult to make an impression nowadays without taking your clothes off because everyone's doing it, right?
I
So
mean, you raise an interesting point though, like that's kind of normalized in the music industry, especially in like modern pop music, like if you go
exactly.
through like the chart music and stuff, it's all over the shop. So it's quite an interesting point. Um, but yeah, I mean, what you're saying about like the branding side of it, I guess it's more about the purpose behind the music and people kind of buy into that rather than what the music sounds like.
Exactly. And the music sounds like, how can I say, it's like a soundtrack, I'd say. And it's really, how can I say, it's quite depressing, but at the same time I feel like you can go through stuff listening to this and just like get through it, get over it, like leave it there, leave the pain in this song, leave the whatever the hell you're going through, just like listen to this song, feel pity about yourself or whatever, and then move on with your life. Just leave it there.
So, you started off singing, right? And then started off playing piano and then you got into singing and everything like that.
And music
How did
production.
it, yeah, how did it progress from there to music production? Talk me through that process.
Yeah, well, that was like, it was such an interesting like period. It was like when I just moved to London and everything was just so new to me. And like I just I went to uni and I had to do stuff, and it was just like random stuff, random ideas and just whatever feels sonically interesting. And I guess I like sound design and stuff. I think that makes a big difference. Just try to make sounds that are unheard, you know. Just try to, because we were talking about this in uni. Like the music is gonna get like every melody and every pattern will be played eventually. So we need to come up with like different sonic experience, like sound design, and like less is more, just like see something simple in a unique way. So I started exploring sound design, and yeah, just like going in through my into my memories, and just like all of it was just like, how can I say, was a lot of melancholy, and it was kind of like dark and beautiful at the same time. So it really allowed me to express myself, like being a self-taught music producer, just like a bedroom producer, you know, like many people do this right now. But how do you make a difference, right? You gotta make a point.
How do you go about learning those skills then? So obviously you do it all yourself. Like, is it something that you just experiment with? Do you sort of do research and then practice, or a little bit of both?
So to be honest with you, I have been so fortunate to like have like a lot of friends who are already like professional producers, and like you just gotta like, you can't just watch tutorials all day long. I mean, I just started this when I was 27, so I'm like, I gotta find a shortcut, you know? So I would just like call someone and say, hey man, like, can you tell me how to do this? Can you tell me how to do that? Like, I've never been afraid to like look for help. And I think that's really important, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. So yeah, a lot of my friends have helped. My courses at uni has helped me as well. But like, I feel like some brilliant stuff have come to me like just by like randomly clicking around, you know, and just like, yeah, it's like music production nowadays is like composing music, you know. That's the new way for me to compose music, and I, even though it sounds funny, I consider myself a composer just by like, you know, like trusting whatever, you know, whatever I feel it's sonically just satisfying. I like my sound to be like super modern, you know, and clean, not over compressed, but like just, you know, something that sounds new.
You mentioned earlier you're a little bit of a control freak.
Yeah.
When you're sort of writing music, how do you like get something finished? Because I speak to a couple of musicians and they say like it's never right, and I
It's
really struggle to finish something. What's your thoughts on that?
same. It's exactly like that. Like I've heard a song, which I still haven't released, but at least the trailer is there of my video. I wrote this song and I produced this song for 5 years, for 5 freaking years. I was like, no, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And my friends are like, come on, just like take this thing out, get this thing out, that people hear what you're doing. I'm like, ah, it doesn't sound good enough. But now I managed to like to write a song in an hour, you know, and just like, I think like we live in a time where there's no reason for things not to be perfect. So when it comes to mixing and mastering, spend the money, do it, you know, just make the sound just like, just sound good on every speaker or whatever. But like, I don't want to overthink the music production anymore. And yeah, that's who I am right now. So of course I like to collaborate with other producers as well, just someone who's better than me. But yeah, it takes ages, totally.
Talk me through that collaboration process, and also would you consider sort of writing music with other people, and have you done that in the past?
Yeah, I have done that in the past, like with a friend of mine who was very new to the whole like collaboration thing. Me too, as well. I was new, but he was like more of the engineering person, and I know exactly what I want. So um, I have been collaborating with other producers around the world without even, you know, meeting each other. And it's difficult to communicate your ideas sometimes, because like everyone has their own vision of things, but sometimes if you're lucky it works. But yeah, I'm super open to like write songs with other people, because I feel like this is how you write hits, you know, like you just have to just like drop a original line here and there, and then it all comes together. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to exploring the music stage in Bristol, because I just moved here, and I love the vibe so much. So yeah, looking forward to collaborate with other musicians and to play live. So yeah, totally.
So you mentioned you just moved to Bristol. Talk me through like what it was like to sort of be in London and now move to Bristol and what those experiences were like.
Oh my God, London is such a weird place. Have you lived there?
I haven't lived there, no, but I've
Oh,
been there for gigs and played there a couple of times and all
oh,
that.
you're a musician yourself then, yeah?
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do an interview on you then. London, it was just like a dream at first. Like it was just like all these gigs and this creative energy, and then everything just got lost. Everyone is kind of like everyone's like in a hurry to go somewhere, and it's just impossible to concentrate. I feel like people there cannot concentrate, and it's difficult to have like decent communication, without having some actual rules. Like you have to commit, you have to concentrate to make stuff done. So for me, it was quite like, how can I say, it was a love and hate relationship, but it was quite unnatural. And yeah, I feel like we have to, as musicians as well, but as people, we have to put our boundaries in order to break them, because when you go to London, it's all about like break boundaries, break boundaries. There are no fucking boundaries anymore, like you have to make yourself some boundaries and then push here and push there, so yeah, that was my experience. And now I'm pretty new to this place, but I feel like there's a lot of character.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've just moved out of Bristol actually, but
Oh
I
yeah.
loved living there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's a great community vibe and everyone's very supportive and it's quite a like to sort of like close knit scene compared to like London where you have all these different areas that are kind of split up.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone is like part of a community there, like different like nationalities, and here like I'm still pretty new to this place, but it felt just more intimate.
So obviously we just come out of a pandemic, or well, I'd say just come out. It's still going on, right? How have you kind of coped with that as a musician, and what struggles have you had?
Wow, that was such an interesting, I don't know, experience. I feel like whoever made this happen is the most brilliant person in the world. So I'm glad you asked that, because like I am a pharmacist and I've always been a hypochondriac. So the first few months I was like almost like becoming agoraphobic, because I realized there was no way for me to protect myself from this thing, and I read everything. I was so scared, and then things were just starting to get a bit mental, and I just got again like familiarized myself with the other side of things and the impact on our emotional health, which is so important. um I was struggling so much. I literally like I almost gave up my dreams. I wrote a song about it, which is quite political, and I've played that a few times in Bristol. Actually, I'm a bit scared to play that because like it involves a lot of like sensitive matter, like Black Lives Matter and all of that. Like isolation we all went through. So basically, the song, just like it, never, I'm never gonna deny the damage that the virus has done to people. I feel like one way or another, people are dying because of the virus, because of the lack of healthcare, because of like depression or whatever. Like one way or another, something is going on. So I feel like we have to look at this from every angle, and we have to be really like, we have to care about the other person, and we have to respect each other so much, and that's the only way to survive. So my song is, I say, it's called Quarantine. It just says, uh isolate us, but we will make our dreams come true, and things like that, and just like how like black or white, we should all stand up together in this, and just like just be together, and believe that we're not gonna stop fighting for the air that we need, and just like this is all like the impact of our mental health, and yeah, we kind of lost who we are, didn't we? I mean,
For sure, like the whole world's turned upside down, right? So it's definitely been difficult, especially for musicians, like with not being able to play gigs and events kind of being shut. And for a lot of musicians these days, that's how they make any money, right, from playing.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know,
I'm
so
actually afraid to like I'm like, what should I do with my life now? You know, that's all I've been doing, and I don't want to be anyone else. That's who I identify with, and I feel like artists in general, just like what will differentiate us eventually, like from AI or whatever. So it's really something that we have to like pursue like as much as possible. I'd say like that's a higher ground, you know. And it cannot be controlled, it cannot be explained, it cannot be like manipulated. It's just like I feel like this is our connection with God, you know.
getting deep now. um, so on that point as well, what's been kind of your experience with playing gigs, and yeah, like what's your approach as well to playing live?
Well, like that's a good question as well, because I haven't done a gig in like a year and a half, and I'm scared of it, honestly. Like, but at the same time, I have become closer to who I am in terms of like playing my original music, right? I can just like freely like communicate, you know, what is this song about and this and that. Um, when it comes to like playing like cover gigs and this and that, I haven't done this in a year and a half. So I can't really tell you. Like, I don't even know if this thing exists anymore the way it used to be. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm scared of it.
But you know, I'm sure everything will be fine, right? And you've been working on all your new songs and everything. So what is the plans for the future from here? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years time?
Well, I've always wanted to like get into like into the film industry, because I don't know, I just feel like my music like connects with film very much. So I'm trying to like every musician, I want to get a sync deal, obviously. But that would be great, like if my music gets into like into films. And I would really love to like find a project that is lucrative in a way, just like something that again will be authentic, but it will also like be I will be able to do just this in my life. I want this to be obviously my only income. So I like, you know, just like staying in the studio like for hours and hours. I'm happy to do this all the time. I'm really interested to see how, because I never actually played my original songs like a full set. I've never done that. So it's gonna be the first pancake. Like, let's see what's gonna happen in Bristol. Yeah, I started like performing. I'm just starting to perform like my original stuff, so it's a bit late in life, but at the same time, I've got a lot to say. Yeah, so that's what I'm really excited about, like finding other people who are like we share the same ideas, and if we can make something beautiful and just like if people like it, that would be amazing. But I'm gonna be like super real and super honest, and I'm never going to be strange for the sake of it, you know. I'm never going to try to like make myself interesting because I have to, you know.
Yeah, so just being like your authentic self as an artist, I think that's, you know, says a lot. Um, so other than like, you know, getting yourself out there playing gigs, what's your approach to sort of like social media and using content to market yourself and creating a brand?
Yeah, I always thought like in London, for example, do you remember there was this guy that basically he pretended to have a restaurant? Do you know this case?
I don't know.
No, no. So like he used to write like fake reviews, and he was a journalist or something like that. So he pretended to have an amazing restaurant, and it was like a number one restaurant in London or something like that. And he was keeping this whole like hysteria, because like when people would call him like, oh, we're booked until December, I'm so sorry, it's like it was like, yeah, it's a super mysterious place where no one can find a table, you cannot go there. And then like people started to intimidate him or something, so he had to like invite someone, and then him and his friends, he and his friends, they just like bought some like frozen pizzas and like some really cheap soup or something. And everything was just like super amateur, but people were like, wow, yeah, this is great. So I just feel like, at least for London, the more mysterious you are, the more interesting. So I've been trying to like come up with a concept that is like, like if you want to know who I am, you have to like put some work into it. So I'm still working on that idea. We're just like, it's too easy just to give everything like that, and it was fun like back in the days. You had to like make an effort for things, and they meant something. So that's what I want. I want commitment. Yeah. No, because I remember like being a metal fan. Like metal fans, they're like super dedicated. They're like the most dedicated fans, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like you can picture like Metallica, Iron Maiden fans and that will go to like every gig, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like it's so cool to like, you kind of like start to identify with like the bands that you like and the ideology. So yeah, I want to go back to like how things used to be in a way, but like long time ago. So yeah, I think that's a good idea, but it just needs more like, again, people need to know about you, but you have to be mysterious. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like the way content marketing is these days, a lot of people just do the opposite and kind of give too much away. If
Yeah.
they're posting something like 4 times a day or something, then they're literally just the whole life's on there.
Yeah, I think it's good to like to share a little story every time you post something. Just again, like share a little story of your life. Um, but yeah, it's just it's weird how the whole internet business works, because I feel like everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants attention. It's like sucking the attention is such an important thing. It's one of the most important thing like in life. So it's crazy what a time waster this can all be. So it's good to like to have some valuable content, but also like to bring people together and to have a real time, real life experience, not just like online gigs or something. So yeah, I don't think, how can I say, maybe people shouldn't be pushed as much, but at the same time it helps. So just like find the right way to like ask for people's attention.
Yeah, for sure. It makes perfect sense. So we're actually nearly out of time now. It's really flown by. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with? Sort of like an open state to you now, really.
Um, let me think. I just want to say to people, wow, I haven't thought about this. Come and see me. Come and find me where I'm gonna play it at some point. Come and see my gigs. Check my music if you like, and just like share your opinion. Let's be friends. And thank
Great
you so.
stuff.
Yeah.
No worries. It's been really great chatting. But yeah, thanks for your time, and we'll speak again soon. Take care,
Thanks.
guys. Thanks for watching.